Okay, if you want to go ahead, Sharon. Okay, so before beginning this session, I would like to just share some truths about myself and about the place that many of us call home. I'm not Indigenous, rather I'm of a settler colonial ancestry. Although my heritage extends to England, like many other settler people, I have benefited greatly from living on Turtle Island. As a visitor on this land, I have an important responsibility to acknowledge the grounds on which we are privileged to gather in this pursuit of higher education. Our university, Trent Peterborough and Trent Durham GTA, is located in the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe. I believe that it is not only important to recognize the Mississauga for their care for and teachings about the earth and our relations, but to honor those teachings through our interactions today and every day hereafter. May we dedicate ourselves to moving forward in the spirit of partnership, collaboration, and reconciliation as we learn together and contemplate the possibilities that lay ahead. Okay, as I mentioned briefly before, if you have any questions, it would be great if you could just pop them into the Q&A feature of the Zoom event, and we will get to those a little bit later. We're going to kind of have a natural pause partway through our presentation and then again at the end. So thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lori Collette with the School of Graduate Studies, and with me is my colleague, Sharon Maloney, and I'm just going to pass it over to her to say a couple words as well. No sound, Sharon? One second. Let me see what's going on here. Hmm. Sorry about this. Oh. No. Can you try now?
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay, sorry about that. Oh my
okay.
goodness.
So sorry, some technical difficulties there.
Okay.
So my name is Sharon Maloney, and I'm the Graduate Admissions Officer at the School of Graduate Studies at Trent University. And today, Lori and I would like to welcome you for taking the time to come and talk to us or listen to us regarding our School of Graduate Studies. Today, we're going to do an overview of all our programs, talk a little bit about admission requirements, the application deadlines, and then we'll do kind of a little presentation. Then we're going to stop for questions. And then in the second half, we're going to review the application process. So we're actually going to kind of walk you through how you apply, and then we'll have another time for questions. Lori does have the Q&A up and running, so you can ask questions at any point during the presentation, and we'll either try and answer you as we're going, or we will answer you kind of in those two little breaks that we're going to have. And we have mentioned, I know there's still some people joining, so we have mentioned that perhaps in the chat, you can just maybe say where you're from and what program that you are interested in.
So just a little overview on the School of Graduate Studies and Trent University. So Trent is a small university, and the School of Graduate Studies is a very small, close-knit community. A big advantage we have is the opportunity to know and to collaborate with faculty and your colleagues, the other students in your programs. So currently we have over 800 active graduate students studying at Trent. And you can see there on the slide a picture of our Bata library. And we have Masters of Arts, Masters of Science, professional course-based masters, several PhD programs, and graduate diploma options as well. And we have a wide variety of students joining. I mean, students joining us from a wide variety of countries from around the world. Currently, we have 253 international students representing countries anywhere from India to Honduras, Morocco to Mexico. And this represents 40% of our overall student body. And we really do like to acknowledge the diversity that these students bring to the academic discussions in the classroom and the graduate student experience overall. So there's a little map there showing where they come from. Um, so our main campus, the Simons campus, is located in the city of Peterborough. It's a very picturesque natural environment. You can see in the picture there, the Tonabee River runs right through the campus. We're located just 90 minutes from downtown Toronto. Um, Peterborough has a population of around 140,000 and all kinds of people live in Peterborough. There's scholars, students, families, industry, industrial leaders. Um, the other campus we have is the Trail campus. Well, there's three campuses, but the two in Peterborough is the city of Peterborough, is the main Simons campus, and then there's the Trail campus, which is downtown. The majority of the programs are located at the Peterborough campus. The one graduate program that we have that's at the Durham campus is the Master of Management program. And the Durham campus has a bit more of an urban setting. It opened in 2010 and it's very close to get to downtown Toronto from the city of Oshawa where it's located. It's just 40 minutes on the train and you can be in the heart of Toronto, which is a population of over 2 million people. So this is a cool setting because it provides students with the learning opportunity in a really engaged urban community. And it's partway between Peterborough and Toronto. And yeah, it's a more of an urban setting.
So as Lori has mentioned, we offer PhD programs and master's programs. So at the PhD level, we have 7 programs that are, I've listed there on the screen for you. Our newest program is the PhD in psychology. We are planning the first intake for this program in September of 2022, and we are accepting applications currently. We do have a well-established graduate program in psychology at the master's level, so we're really just building on that program with our new PhD in psychology. And something else that's new this year I wanted to point out, Indigenous Studies, one of our older programs that we've had for some time, has introduced 2 formats this year. So you have the option of a traditional monograph dissertation or a dissertation knowledge basket. And so this new innovative format allows the students to have both a creative component to their dissertation along with the usual written component. Students that are accepted into our PhD programs are guaranteed funding for any eligible students. The minimum amount of funding that the students will have is $20,000 per year. And that will include things like a research fellowship, scholarships, and a graduate teaching assistantship. Now, these students do not have to apply. When you submit your application, you're automatically considered for this funding. So there's no extra application for this funding, you're automatically considered. In addition, there are a limited number of international scholarships available for research-based masters and PhD. Again, you do not need to apply for the international scholarships. You are automatically considered when your application is received. These are merit-based, and so it's our most highly qualified students that receive an offer of an international scholarship. At the master's level, we have both Masters of Arts and Masters of Science. In the research-based programs, there are 13 programs to choose from, and I've listed those on the screen for you. And within all these programs, many of them have several streams. So there's actually more than 13 ways you can study for your master's here at Trent. For example, English public text, you have a choice of a thesis-based master's, a course-based master's with major research paper, a research creation stream, or an internship stream. And another one that this year in the sustainability studies, along with the thesis-based stream and the major research based stream, there is also an internship stream and an entrepreneurship and innovation stream. And both of these programs are 16 months in length. Another one to point out is education, our Masters of Educational Studies. It is popular with some of our international applicants. And along with their major research paper or thesis-based streams, there is a course-based only option available in that stream. At the master's level, there's also funding available for eligible students. Again, you are automatically considered for this funding when you submit your application, and there is a minimum funding available of $15,000 per year. There are a couple programs, the professional programs of Masters in Educational Studies and Masters of Science in Nursing do not have automatic funding available for applicants, but this is guaranteed funding for the rest in the research-based programs. One other thing I wanted to point out, it is not necessary for our students to apply for graduate teaching assistantship at many other schools. You may get accepted, but then you have to apply and find a GTA that will accept you. Our graduate teaching assistantships are part of your funding package, and so it would be included in your admission letter if you're offered admission that you have been offered a GTA as well. We also have a number of professional graduate master's programs. These are course-based programs. Several of these programs include a placement. Many of them, the Masters of Bioenvironmental Monitoring and Assessment, the Masters of Science and Forensic Science, Masters of Instrumental Chemical Analysis, and the Masters of Management all include a placement or internship as part of your program. Generally, these programs are 12 to 16 months in length, and they are very popular because they are shorter in length and they provide some practical experience to prepare you for your career. And these programs, because they are professional programs, funding is not offered as part of your admission. I did want to mention our graduate diplomas. We have a few of those. Both the Education Community Leadership is a part-time program, so it is generally just for domestic students. The Mental Health and Addictions Nursing Graduate Diploma is also part-time, but it is offered with online courses, so international applicants are allowed to apply for that program. The other two are just 8-month programs that present the theory for those areas of expertise, but not the placement, so are kind of interest to those who are already working in something in the area of bioenvironmental monitoring and assessment and just would like to get some more theory behind what they're doing. And the bioenvironmental monitoring and assessment program does offer online courses. So that may be something that international applicants are interested in knowing. Briefly, I'll mention we have a couple other areas where we have faculty expertise, but we do not have a standalone program. So if you're interested in aging studies or feminist and gender studies, you can add that specialization onto your Masters of Arts or Masters of Science after you have applied and been accepted to one of the programs. And then you can work in that area with one of those faculty, and your thesis or research paper can be in that area.
Okay, so I'm just going to speak a little bit about the Applied Modeling and Quantitative Methods option. This program is a very competitive program. Applications for this are due by February the 1st, like most of our programs, and currently it only has a September intake. Beginning for January 2023, there'll also be a winter intake, and applications are now open for that one as well. But we're just for September 2022, and then January 2023 will start in January. Deadline for that is June 1st, 2022. So the AMOD program has a thesis-based option, which takes 2 years to complete, and then the 2 course-based options both take 16 months to complete. There's a little bit of information laid out there on the slide on the types of courses and the skills that you can gain from those programs. So very competitive, and really encourage people to apply by the February 1st deadline in order to be considered for admission for this program. Another program that we'll highlight, a research-based program, is the Environmental and Life Sciences, which has both a master's and a PhD. So this program allows you to take part in leading research in cell biology and genetics, ecology, conservation biology, physical geography. It's very many different areas that you can study related to it. It's thesis-based. It takes 2 years to complete your master's, 4 years to complete your PhD. You do require a supervisor in order to study in this degree, and we highly recommend that you have a supervisor in mind when you apply to this program. So the other cool thing about this program is there's the opportunity for top scholars that are in their masters to convert over to a PhD while they're in the program. Another thing to note about this program is it's one of our oldest interdisciplinary environmental graduate programs in Canada. It started in the early 1970s. The Environmental Life Science program also has close partnerships with government and industry experts in the Peterborough surrounding area. And this is one of the programs too that has intakes in September, January, or May. Was mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, the Master of Management is our only program that comes out of the Durham campus. It's a professional course-based program, and it really gives you a good grounding in a broad spectrum of business and management disciplines. Recently, I think it was just last year at this time, we introduced the strategic change management stream, which responds to the need for businesses to develop and implement strategies to change in the current environment. This is another 16-month course-based program similar to the applied modeling program, but the final term of this 4-term program offers a 1-term work integrated learning opportunity. So again, this program, Master of Management, is very competitive. So we do recommend applying early. And it also will have a new intake beginning for January 2023, and it is now open. Just highlighting another program that's become very popular as well with international students is the Master of Instrumental Chemical Analysis. So this is a graduate diploma option, and it's of interest to those with a wide variety of backgrounds again. So chemistry, biology, environmental science, physics, health science background, and it gives you the practical skills for jobs in commercial, academic, and government labs. It takes 12 months to complete, and it does include a practicum placement as well. I see we do have a number of questions coming in, but we'll be answering those a few more slides down the road when we have a break. I've been keeping an eye on them, so we will go through those. Sharon? You don't have sound again? What is going on? That is so strange. Sorry about this, everybody. I'm not sure why this is happening. Okay, try again.
I'm sorry, Lori.
I don't know what's happening. I go in and I have to click on you and say, ask you to unmute. So I ask you and then you're able to. Okay.
I will not mute again. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everyone. So I was going to speak a little bit about graduation tuition fees. Our fees vary by program. So there are, depending which of the programs that you are accepted into will depend what your fees are. The fees are not approved yet for 2022-2023. So what I am showing here are the international fees for the 2021 and 2022 academic year. And the range is from about 22,800 to 31,800 Canadian. And students need to be aware that this is for a 12-month term, what I'm quoting. Some of our programs are 12 months in length, but many of our programs are 16 months to 4 years, and students are required to pay tuition fees for every term of enrollment. So keep that in mind that this is just for your first year. It is essential that graduate students are prepared for the cost of graduate school in Canada. The current annual costs for international students are estimated between 42,000 Canadian to 57,000 Canadian per year, including your tuition. Those expenses are going to vary on your living situation and if there's family members you're supporting and so on. But that gives you a bit of an idea of the cost of going to post-secondary education in Canada. You can go onto our website and see what program it is that you're interested in applying for, and then you'll see what the fees are for that particular program. I wanted to mention that we do have some of our competitive professional programs do require a deposit upon acceptance, so be aware of that. And I also wanted to mention that we've talked a little bit about the funding that you're guaranteed for our research-based programs, but we do encourage our students and applicants to apply for external scholarships as well. So there are several other scholarships you can apply for, and we do have a web page on our site that can give you some details about how to apply for the scholarships and what scholarships are available. And then we do suggest that applicants do lots of research. There's other scholarships out there that are available for post-secondary education at the graduate level. So you can do some research and see what else is available. We do encourage you to apply for scholarships to supplement what we're able to help you with. And now I just wanted to talk a little bit about applying to grad school. So the minimum requirement for admission is a B+, or the Canadian equivalent of a B+, or 77% in the last 2 years of full-time study. Individual programs may have a higher entrance average, and you can find out what individual programs require by looking at their program pages on our website, and we'll show you that a little bit later in our presentation. So some examples is the Sustainability Studies program requires an overall GPA of 80% in the last 2 years. Other programs may have specific courses that they would like you to have a certain average in. So the psychology master's requires an 80% average in overall average in your psychology courses. One program that doesn't follow this minimum requirement is the Master's in Science and Nursing, and it requires a minimum of a B for admission, and that's about 73%. Generally, to apply to a master's level, you require the equivalent of a 4-year Canadian bachelor's degree, and what that actually means varies by country. So in some countries, you actually will need to complete your bachelor's degree plus the master's degree. There are some countries that require a 5-year, we require a 5 years bachelor's degree. So it does vary by country. To apply to the master's degree, you do require, or sorry, for a doctoral degree, you require a master's degree. We do receive a lot of international applications, and unfortunately, we're not able to provide a grade conversion until the applicant has applied and paid the application fee, and we've received your uploaded transcripts. We do not require that international students obtain a World Education Services assessment prior to applying. If you do obtain a World Education Services assessment, we require the International Credential Advantage package, and we will accept that, and we will accept the documents as authentic. However, we will do our own assessment to make sure that you meet our requirements, which can be different than what WES's their requirements are. On a rare occasion, after we complete an initial assessment of your transcripts, we may reach out to you and tell you we need something more. So we may need some more information from the school that you've attended, or we may actually require that you would go out at that point and have a WES assessment done in order to be considered for admission. But it's not automatic when you apply. All applicants who did not complete their post-secondary education in Canada may be required to submit proof of English language proficiency. There are some exceptions, and you can go to our website to see what those exceptions are. But generally, these are the tests that we will accept. By far, IELTS is the most common test that we receive, and all the academic tests must be completed within the 2 years prior to you applying to our School of Graduate Studies. Admission to the graduate level is not based on your grade point average only. Programs review many other things to see if you are a fit for their program and that you will be successful in the graduate program that they are offering. So programs review things like your background, your research proposal. They may review whether there is any availability of an appropriate supervisor or if there's funding or lab space available, particularly for research programs. To help them in their review, there are documents that you're required to submit as part of your application. And we'll explain to you how to submit them. It's later in the process that you submit them, not with the UAC application. But this is an example of some of the types of documents you may be required to submit. All applicants are required to upload unofficial transcripts and proof of English if applicable. And then there are what the programs require does vary slightly. And you can find out by going to the program pages exactly what the program you're interested in is requiring for you to submit along with your transcripts. As I mentioned, you submit unofficial transcripts when you apply. If you are offered admission, you will be required to submit your official transcript at that time, and your admission will be conditional on submitting those official transcripts. I do have a little hint for anyone who is applying. We do suggest that you do not upload any extra documents. So we do not require your secondary transcripts. We do not require maybe awards or certificates of achievements. And the other thing we do not require, we would like to point out, is if you've uploaded your documents once, it's not necessary to upload them again if, say, in a month's time, to make sure we have them. What happens if there's extra documents there, it does maybe delay the assessment of your application because all the documents are submitted to the program and it just is a little bit more to go through for them. So I would suggest only upload exactly what the program is looking for. As we've mentioned, our main entry term is September of each year. Most of the programs have only one entry, and it is generally September. Applications are currently open, and the official deadline to apply is February the 1st. Select research-based science programs are open for January intake as well. We are accepting applications for January 2023. The 2022 applications are closed, but January 2023 is open. And as Lori has mentioned, our popular financial analytics and big data analytics streams of the Applied Modeling and Quantitative Method Masters of Science and our Masters of Management, including the Strategic Change Management stream, are offering a new intake in January of 2023. And that those applications are currently open. The deadline to apply is June the 1st. And with these highly competitive professional programs, they will not be accepting late applications. So they will be, when the application date comes, the applications will be closed. So please keep that in mind. And again, we do suggest that you apply early as possible. We also have a spring term that begins May the 1st. The deadline to apply is December 1st, mostly research-based science programs, but also the Masters of Science in Nursing. Their intake is May of each year. We suggest international applicants from outside Canada apply at least six months in advance of the start term, and it can vary on country and program, but that's kind of our suggestion. And how you apply, we accept applications online through the Ontario University Application Centre. The link to that site is on our website. It is an online application that you complete and submit, and we'll kind of review that a little bit more in the second half of our presentation. There is a non-refundable application fee that's paid to UAC, and it varies from $100 to $125.
Okay, thank you for all that information, Sharon. We've got a next slide, shows a couple of our recent and just graduated recent and current students, I should say. Michael is from the anthropology program, and he's now at Oxford University doing his PhD, and Moritz did his PhD at Trent in cultural studies. So just a couple little quotes there from them. So we're going to go through some of the questions that have been submitted in the Q&A now. So if you have any, feel free to enter those in. And we'll go back up and start from the beginning. Bartos wanted to know more about the PhD in ISR. Is that the Interdisciplinary Social Research Program? I keep my hopes up it's going to be mentioned today. Okay. I don't know if we're going to talk too much more about that one in the rest of the presentation, Sharon. Are you okay? You're not muted there. You look like
Yeah,
you're able
yeah,
to talk. Okay.
yeah.
You can go ahead if
So
you want. Yeah.
yeah, sure. It wasn't one that we particularly were highlighting, but we're happy to answer questions. It is a fairly new program. It just the first um, intake was a year ago, January, I believe, was our first intake. It is only available moving forward for a September intake. So we're currently accepting applications for September of 2022. It is a program that would have guaranteed funding for eligible students. So there would be a guaranteed funding of $20,000 per year. What I would suggest, if you'd like to find out a little bit more about the actual courses and who your potential faculty might be, to probably reach out directly to the program, and they would be able to give you a little bit more information. So you can find the information on our website and of who to reach out to, or the link there of who to reach out to, and they can give you a little bit more information about who you might be studying with, and what potential supervisors might be available to work with you. The director, Dr. Niblett, is very good to talk to potential applicants as well. So if the admin in the program, if Mackenzie's not able to help you with your questions, she can put you forward to speak to the director or to speak to one of the faculty.
And I'll just like to add to that a wee little bit. Bartos, in a few more slides from now, we will be just showing students, if they need to look for a faculty member, how to do that. So I can use the IDSR page as an example. So I'll just click through that a little bit so you can see where to find the faculty from that and how to contact Blair or Christine, the admin assistant. Okay, next question. I'm from Pakistan. I completed 16 years of education in 2007. You've had some work experience in forensic field and completed 18 years of education in 2021. So you're wondering about a study gap, whether that has a negative impact on the admission process. Sorry, did you say here, Abdul, which program? So you've worked in forensic field. Is it the forensic science that you're interested in? Regardless, I don't think that the gap in your studies, like the first thing that the programs look for, oh yes, sorry, I see another question here from you, and you're asking whether a PhD in forensic science is available. So I'm assuming it is a forensic science that you're interested in. The first thing that they're looking for is that you meet the admission requirements. I don't know if you meet the admission requirements, the 77% in your master's or the equivalency of that, what that would be in your country. That's the main thing they're looking for. They're going to read your personal statement or your plan of study, depending on the program, and make sure there's a good fit there and everything. But from my experience, I don't think that the gap is going to, we like the diversity in our classroom of older people, young, more mature students, and international, domestic. So I don't think that would have an impact on your admission. I don't see why it would. Sharon, I'm just going to scroll down because I see a few comments here from Abdul. So you can add to that maybe, and I'll just see if there's more that they've offered here.
So generally, no, a gap in your education would not hinder your application. Generally, there are a few programs that they want to make sure that you're still current. And they would be looking at your research proposal, if it's research-based that you're looking at, or your plan of our personal statement to see what you've been doing to make sure that you would still be successful and relevant to whatever you're studying. Unfortunately, we do not offer a PhD in forensic science. We do have some faculty that work in the environmental and life sciences graduate program who have their background in forensic science. So potentially there may be somebody that you want to work with. And what I would suggest there is to look at the environmental and life sciences program page, and Lori will show you again where to find this information about faculty, and see if one of the faculty members there is in fact studying something that you're interested in that's related to forensic science, that you might still be interested in a PhD, but in a different kind of focus than forensics. So certainly you can look into that, but at this point we do not offer the PhD in forensic science.
Okay, and we'll just continue with a couple more quick questions from Abdul while we're
Yes,
on the
I
topic
see.
here. Yeah, so he's also asking about English. If the university that you did your undergrad in was in English, then yes, you can just submit a letter from that university indicating that the medium of instruction was in English, and that would suffice as the proof of English competency. You wouldn't need
Sure.
to do the
So
IELTS as well.
yeah, I'll add to that a little bit. So if,
Mhm.
because you've mentioned you have a gap in your education, if there is a gap in your education and since you've completed your studies in English, we may request further documentation or further proof. And in fact, with anybody that applies, we may request, if there is some reason we are concerned that you do not meet the academic level of English that's required to be successful, we may request a further information or a test, maybe a writing sample for a program that doesn't normally require a writing sample, something like that. But when applying, it's not necessary to do that. You can let us know that you've studied in English, and we will let you know whether or not we require anything further. And just, we might as well finish all your questions. I see you're asking about whether you would have to, if you applied for the Masters of Science in Forensic Science, whether you would still have to attend all the courses and pay for each term. And the answer is generally yes. They may, at the time of admission, they may look at your background. They may give you one transfer credit. They might not if it's not equivalent, but applicants must pay, or students must pay for every term they're in attendance. So we don't have a mechanism for advanced standing to move you forward a couple semesters. So I believe you would have to pay for every term.
Okay, so the next question is with regards to the financial analytics program, and after you've submitted all of your supporting documents, so first your application, then your supporting documents, what is the expected response time to hear about admission to
Sure.
that program?
Do you want me to take that one, Lori?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you're doing great. You just keep going if you like,
So,
Jared.
and so admissions at the graduate level is very different than the undergraduate level. At the undergraduate level, it's my understanding you might apply and within 4 weeks, you know whether or not you've been accepted. At the graduate level, it's very different because it's decided by each program. And we are a very small school with some small programs. So it varies by the program. Some will actually wait until after the deadline and look at the entire pool and then pick which applicants are most likely to or most highly qualified for their programs. And so those admission letters, even if you apply now, they may not be going out until April. Some of our highly competitive programs are starting to look at applications as soon as they come in and they're complete. And so they may find some very highly qualified applicants, and they may send out some early admissions. However, if you maybe don't make that first cut, they're going to leave your application open until they know all the seats are full. So there will be people in even our competitive programs that won't actually be receiving their offers till probably April, after all the applications have closed and the programs have reviewed the applications. So it is a little bit different because of the way that applications are assessed and because of our small programs. So there can be quite a gap between when you apply and when you receive an answer. What we like to tell applicants, if you have not received a message from us to say, unfortunately, we're not able to offer you admission, it means your application is still open. So they are still looking at it. They're maybe considering, maybe they've sent out one round of offers, but you're still a good candidate, and they are perhaps still going to send you out an admission letter. So all we can suggest is just ask you to be patient.
Okay, so the next question is whether you need to upload a second personal statement after you've applied to a different stream of the same program. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so actually for each because each, I guess it depends. If you are applying to one of the research-based master's or programs that has several streams, then no, you do not need to, you can just upload one package. If you're applying to one of our two professional programs that have two streams, and I'm particularly meaning the financial analytics, the big data, and then the management stream or the strategic change management stream, each of those programs have separate application files. And so in that case, you would need to upload for each program. Once you apply, you'll be able to see, it will ask you to choose your program when you're uploading your documents, and you'll be able to see that there's a spot to upload for financial analytics, a different spot to upload for big data. But for the other programs like sustainability studies, if you've applied for a course base with major research paper, and you've also applied for the internship, you do not necessarily have to upload two different plans of study. You can add a second one if you wish for the second program, but you don't necessarily have to.
The next question asks whether there's any funding opportunities for graduate professional programs.
Unfortunately, the professional programs do not have any funding attached to the admissions. Applicants are encouraged to apply to external scholarships. There are limited internal scholarships for international students in the professional programs. We do have some bursaries for those students in need, but again, there is a limited amount of bursaries available. So just to keep that in mind, there wouldn't be a bursary to cover all your expenses. But if after you arrive, something happens that you have an emergency, there are some bursary funds available.
As Sharon mentioned, the funds are very limited for international students in a course-based program. The one that I refer people to in our long list of scholarship opportunities, it was on that link. The link was provided in one of the slides back, but it's not hard to find on our website. One of them is the BADA scholarship. It has a significant amount attached to it. I think it's $5,000. It's an annual scholarship. So we do get quite a few people apply to it, but it's application based, depending on how great your application is. So that is one that international students can definitely apply for, even in a course-based program. And then there's the bursaries that come up 3 times a year, once per term. But as Sharon was alluding to, those are a very nominal amount, just minimal to kind of help assist you a little bit. Okay, so next question. What kind of writing sample is needed for an admission process? So this one, I can also show you that when we're kind of going through the IDSR page. There is a template on each of the pages that require a writing sample that you can click on, I believe. Or am I thinking of the personal statement and plan of study? Yeah. So I think that they say minimum around 20 pages or less, something that provides like a really good example of your writing capability. Like they're trying to assess whether you can be successful in your program, that you have the writing skills that you'll need to successfully do the program.
So if you are a recent graduate, you may wish to use a paper from your final year of your undergraduate program, or if you completed an undergraduate thesis, you might want to submit a chapter from your undergraduate thesis. You could also, if you published anything, you could submit something that you published, or you could submit something, a report or something that you've worked on in your career, if you are not as recent as graduate from your undergrad.
What is the average class size for the graduate in management program?
I believe about 30 to 45.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well.
But you could email the management program directly and ask, but I believe that's the average, like class, meaning like in a classroom together size. I don't know their exact intake every year, but it is small.
I've just put the email for the management program into the chat, so you can touch base with Joan and just verify that. But I think that number that Sharon gave you is quite accurate. Next question, could you please tell me a little bit about job prospects in Canada as an international student if you attain your financial analytics degree from Trent? You already have 14 years experience in a foreign bank in Bangladesh.
So I think probably you are best as well to direct that question to the program because they're more aware of where their graduates are being hired and of the actual area of expertise that you will be obtaining in that course. We kind of just give an overview. So I think the AMOD program would be best to help answer that question for you.
And I've put the email address again in the chat for that. It's
Perfect.
amod@trentu.ca. That is
Thanks.
something that we're hoping to update on our website in the coming months, put more information on career opportunities. But for now, I think that, yeah, the admin assistant has a bit more details for you. Isaac in Ghana, you have a diploma in science, laboratory technology, and a Bachelor of Technology in Chemistry. Should you apply for Master of Science or a graduate diploma? You want to answer
So
that?
so the admission requirements are the same, so that would not make any difference. If you are looking at something such as the Masters of Instrumental Chemical Analysis as opposed to the graduate diploma, the difference really is there's one less course, I think, in the diploma, and you do not have your placement opportunity that you would have with the master's. So I think if you already feel that you have a lot of technical experience, then maybe you are interested in just the graduate diploma. But if you would like to also have an experiential experience as part of your degree, then you probably want to apply for the master's.
And again, feel free to reach out to the program. If you go to both of those websites, the program administrative assistant's email address will be on the bottom there, or I could grab that for you in a little bit, and they might have a little bit further details to provide to you. Okay, the last question, and then we'll get back to the kind of the how to apply section of our presentation. When a student receives an admission acceptance letter, are funding, granted awards, and fees going to be listed there? So yes, the funding is all listed on your letter of acceptance. The standard funding, the GTA, the research fellowship, the entrance awards that you might have been given, all the fees are laid out there. They're totaled per year. There's a total amount given, and the fees are listed as well within the paragraphs, different in the first and second page. They are described as to what the fees are. The fees are also listed on our website, but definitely the letter will tell you all the funding that you're going to receive, and it will also tell you the fees for the this is Bartos, so I'm assuming you're still interested in the IDSR program, so the 4-year PhD program. That information will be there. Go ahead, Sharon, if you want to add
The
some more.
fees are an estimate because when your admission letter is given to you, they usually are not approved yet for the following year, but the fees will be an estimate. And you will have a bit of time then to review what funding we are offering, and then you have a little bit of time to decide then if you want to accept the offer. So it is all laid out for you. So I think we will carry on with our second half of our presentation for those who would like to learn exactly how to apply. So as we've mentioned, you go to our website to apply, and on our how to apply page, you are on our website, you would go to the how to apply tab, which is going to take you to this page. And as you scroll down, it actually walks you through step by step how you will apply. So the first thing we suggest is that you go to the program pages section of our website and review the admission requirements required for the program that you are interested in. And once you click on that, it will take you to this page. We have divided the programs up into sections based on thesis, based masters, professional course-based masters, PhD, and graduate diploma. For this demonstration, we're just going to look at the course-based masters. So if you went into that section, you would have a tile for every program that offers a course-based. And sorry, both the research course-based are here along with the professional course-based master's program. So one of the programs a lot of our international students or applicants are interested in is the Big Data Analytics program. So if you clicked onto that, it would take you to a page that outlines exactly what is required for that program. So it will tell you the minimum requirement. It will tell you on this page if you require a supervisor to be identified when you are applying. And some of our research-based programs, you do require that. It would tell you a little bit about your background that you might require. And as you scroll down further on the page, it shows you what is required as far as extra documents. So this is what's required for the Big Data program: letters of reference, proof of English if applicable, the transcripts, and a personal statement. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Lori is going to kind of take you right to our website and show you a little bit of how to find a supervisor if that you are in a program that requires it.
Okay, so everybody can see my screen okay, showing the Trent website? Okay,
yes.
Great. Okay, so this is the main Trent website. So you would click on programs and then you'll start to see the same pages that Sharon was just talking about. So thesis, course-based, PhD, grad diplomas, and specializations. So we mentioned we were going to go to the IDSR page, which is a PhD. So I'm going to click on PhD. And then I'm going to go to the IDSR page. And so, as she was saying, there's a little intro here, program highlights, the different options, how long it takes, September intake, tells you the terms that it starts, the admission requirements, and here's all the required documents, the writing sample we were talking about, template for plan of study. So first you're reviewing all of this. And then, so this orange link here takes you right to the IDSR website itself. Now, so you have some further information, different tabs along the top, and key thing on applying for research-based programs is ensuring you have a faculty member who's interested and available to help you to act as your supervisor, making sure that their research area kind of aligns with what you're interested in. So I clicked on the faculty and research, and here we have a very extensive list for this program of all of the people associated with this program. And you'll see their emails there, their research interest, and kind of what their undergrad department is. So Stephen Hills with the School in the Environment. Chris Virgil, his main areas are the School in the Environment and Indigenous Studies, Department of Social Work. So this is very varied because it's such an interdisciplinary program. So we recommend that you scroll through this list, see who best aligns. There might be one, there might be 3 or 4 that kind of tie in with where your interest lies, and reach out to them by email and tell them that who you are, what your background is, what you're interested in doing, and why you'd like them to research, to be as your supervisor for the program, and start that conversation, because that's very helpful when applying to graduate school. If you can say, oh, look, I've already reached out to David Frang and he's interested in being my supervisor. If you can put that on your application, then that's one less step that the admissions committee has to go through later and going, oh, looking up your research and then reaching out to potential people. And they really prefer that people do that ahead of time. So that kind of shows you how to do that. And it's the same for all the other programs too. So that was just an example of the IDSR. If we had the same thing, if we were to environmental life science, we go down to the website, faculty and research, faculty, and then they're all listed. So I am going to stop sharing again. We'll go back over to the main presentation. Go ahead there, Sharon.
And just bear with me for a minute while we get our screen up here again. Okay, so I think we're good to go again. So now that you've researched what you need, you go to the bottom of that page to start your application now. Once you hit that button, it's going to take you to the Ontario University's Application Center page. So on this page, you need to create an account. And the one thing that I would like to remind any of you who are working with an agent, it is okay for the agent to submit the application on your behalf, but each applicant must have a unique email address. But everybody who applies must have that unique email address. So please keep that in mind. We've had some issues with that in the past. The application itself takes about 1 hour for you to complete. Once you have created an account, you will be asked to state your status in Canada. So whether you're an international student, a permanent resident, or a Canadian citizen. And then it's going to take you to the list of all our programs. Now, this is only a partial list for demonstration purposes, but if you scroll down, you'll see all our various programs there, and you can just click on it, whichever one you're interested in, and start the application at that point. You are allowed to apply for 2 different programs on one application, but you are required to pay a fee for each program. So for instance, if you had applied to the Masters of Environmental Monitoring and Assessment, and then you've also applied to the Environmental and Life Sciences Masters, then you would have to pay $125 for the professional program and $100 for the research-based program, and then you would submit all of that to UAC. Once you've submitted your information to UAC, it doesn't come immediately to Trent University. We do not receive your application until after the application and the payment have been processed by UAC. So there may be approximately about a 5 business day delay before we actually receive the application, and we're not able to access any of your information until we receive the actual application from UAC. So please be patient. Once we receive it and process it, you will receive an acknowledgement email that gives you your Trent ID and instructions on how to claim your My Trent account. Once you claim your My Trent account, then you'll be able to upload your required documents, and your references will receive a link by email to upload a secure reference to our system. So logging into your My Trent portal, this is where you can go. Under your academics tab, you're going to see a graduate application documents tab. Once you click onto that, it's going to take you to this page that's going to give you some information. We do recommend that you upload your documents as PDFs. It is going to ask you which program it is that you are uploading the documents for, and then you simply will choose your files and upload. The documents are processed fairly quickly, usually the same day that we receive them. Sometimes there might be a little bit of a delay, but so maybe wait 1 day, but you'll be able to go back to your My Trent portal under academics and look at the required documents tab, and there you can see what we've actually received. So it will show that we've received your plan of study, writing sample, transcripts, etc. If we find you've missed a transcript, we might add it in there that you still owe us 1 transcript from a specific school, and you'll actually be able to see when your referees submit their references. A few other things I want to point out that you can check on this page. If you are working with an agent, you must complete the agent authorization form in order for the agent to be able to work with us and us to be able to communicate with the agent on your behalf. The other thing we do find sometimes with international applicants, they may have someone, a family member or a friend who's living in Canada, or at least living in our time zone, that they would like to communicate with us on their behalf. So if you have someone like that you want to communicate with us, you have to give us permission. And so there's a release of information form as well that you would complete, and you can specify what you would like us to, what kind of information we're allowed to release to that person. And the final thing I was going to show you on this page is called the Graduate Reference Self-Service Portal. Sometimes we find that somebody's maybe in a hurry or makes a simple typo on their reference information on their UAC application form. So the referee does not actually receive the email. So if you noticed you've made a mistake on your referee's email, or perhaps you suddenly find out your referee is working in the field and is not available currently to provide a reference, you can go to this reference self-service portal and re-enter your referee's information. So you can re-enter a new referee or enter the corrected information, and then an email will go out and they will have access to the secure link to upload references for you.
Okay, so I'm just going to do a bit of a summary of those last many slides that Sharon has just gone through. So the first step is to review the specific program requirements. So to make sure that you meet the requirements for the program, then you'll go to the how to apply page and you'll prepare your application. As Sharon had said, that can take up to an hour. Make sure you've got all the information you need, such as your referees, their email address, all the details that you need. Once you've submitted the application, you'll receive an acknowledgement email and you'll claim your MyTrent account from the email that you've received. At that point, you'll be able to start uploading your required documents. And as these are uploaded, you'll be able to check on your MyTrent portal and it will tell you which ones we've received and which ones are still outstanding. And then you can complete the agent authorization form or release of information form if need be, if you're working with a portal or need someone else to speak on your behalf, which is found on the portal as Sharon was just showing you on the last slide. And as just mentioned, yeah, just check your email, but mainly your MyTrent portal for updates to make sure that all your documents are in. Once it shows on your portal that you have a pending decision status, that means all of your documents are in and then it's with the program for review. So that's at the point where you just have to have a little bit of patience. The program's reviewing it and you will hear something by email as soon as they can get through the applications and they can review them. So just a little bit of information about the decisions, about them making decisions on the admission process. The length of time can vary depending on the number of applications on the program and the quality of the applicants. So different amongst the programs, admittedly, just depends. Like as Sharon was mentioning, the AMOD, the management program, has already started sending some offers out for next fall, but it just depends on a number of things. So it could be till April that you would hear, even if your application is totally complete. We do just really encourage everyone to apply early and then just have some patience after that. And I think we've mentioned this as well, that once you receive your offer, the admission letter will ask for a deposit sometimes for the professional programs, which is required within 60 days of acceptance. Is that correct? Yes. And then the acceptance, accepting your offer that you've been given is required within a month's time, 4 weeks after receiving your letter.
Yes, generally the deposit is required about 3 months before the start of the program. So if you are receiving your offer, well, for international applicants, you will be receiving your offer prior to that date. So generally that's when we require the deposit. And the official transcripts are generally required 60 days after you receive your offer of admission. So just to kind of summarize, why do we think you should join us here at Trent University? So as you can see in our backgrounds, it's a beautiful campus. Both Lori and I have pictures of the campus in our backgrounds here. And Lori's mentioned a little bit about the city. The campus here is located on both sides of the Ontonabe River, in amongst nature trails and parks, but not far from our vibrant downtown, which has lots of restaurants and has a good thriving arts and culture scene. As well, the urban center of Toronto is very close to our other campus at the GTA Durham campus. And so if that's what you're looking for as a big city and you're interested in management, you have that opportunity. But the other reason we think you should come and join us here at Trent, besides we like where we work, is our campus, our school, as we've mentioned, is very small. And so you get to know your faculty and get to know your fellow students, but you are still working with world-renowned researchers. We have many of our faculty that hold the prestigious Canada Research Chair. Our most recent ones, Dr. Ann Pasek, has a Canada Research Chair in Media, Culture, and the Environment. Dr. Naomi Nichols has a Canada Research Chair in Community Partnered Social Justice. Dr. Dennis Murray, who's one of our directors, holds a Canada Research Chair in the area of wildlife biology. So we have many highly qualified faculty working here at Trent. And in fact, Trent has been ranked among the top research universities in Canada for a small university. So we encourage you to reach out to programs, find out more about the area you're interested in studying, and then come and join us at our state-of-the-art facilities and our state-of-the-art research centers here in Peterborough, Canada.
So that's kind of the end of our presentation. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to ask them now. If you think of other questions as after the presentation ends, you can always reach us at that email provided there on the slide, graduate@trentu.ca. And we usually get back to people within a day or two and answer your questions. Super busy times for us are right around deadline time. So February 1st-ish, around that time, it can take an extra day or two to respond. So we just thank you for your patience then, but we usually can reply within a day or two. So we have some more questions in our Q&A right now that we'll go through quickly.
Sure. I think we've kind of answered the questions about how long does it take to get an offer letter, and basically it varies, and you may not hear back till April, even if you've applied now. So that I know that is an anxious time for applicants, but it's good to know that that's the reality with these graduate programs, that it's not a fast turnaround like the undergrad. I see a question asking about any advantage to using an agent for graduate application. So from our school side, from the School Graduate Studies, there isn't really an advantage for us. The advantage is probably more related to you, whether it's advantageous to you or not. And so what I'm going to suggest is you could reach out to our international office. They work with the agents. They may be able to give you an answer about that side. But from our standpoint about whether you get in because you have an agent, or if we look to see if you have an agent, everybody is considered equally. So from our standpoint, so maybe Lori will put the international email address in the chat there.
It is in the chat.
Thank you. And you can reach out to them and they can give you some better answers than Lori and I can.
So I've put that in the chat. It's international@trentu.ca. So the next question is Master of Management Fall 22 application closed or full? No, it is definitely still open.
Yeah.
It will be
open. Yeah.
Open till February the 1st is the deadline for that, that start term. So it's open now and open for another 3 months.
Yeah, so we do encourage you to apply soon. They have, as Lori said, there are a couple that have maybe a couple offers have gone out to the most highly qualified, but they're going to continue right until after the deadline date, until all the seats are full.
Is Trent University associated with Northingham Trent University in the UK?
No, we're not. We're two
Interesting.
separate institutions.
It's funny. What a coincidence. Same name. Is Master of Management? Oh, okay. We just answered that one.
Answered that one, yes.
Still open for Master of Management. The final question from Isaac, please, how many programs can I choose per application, and do you need to pay for each? I think it's a maximum of 3 that you can do.
No, it's actually a maximum of 2, Lori. Sorry.
Oh, it is 2. Okay.
Yep. Okay. 2 per application. And then yes, you do need to pay for each program. So if you were applying to the financial analytics stream and the Masters of Management, you would pay $125 for each. So that would be a total of $250 for that application. So I think that we've kept you for over our hour, and we really, really appreciate your interest in us here, our Trent University School Graduate Studies, and we appreciate your time to listening to us discuss applying in our programs. We encourage you to reach out to research on our website, to reach out to our programs if you have further questions, and to reach out to our office as well if you have any further questions, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Lori will be in the next little bit posting this presentation on our website. So if you joined us late or you want to review anything, it will be available for you in the next little bit. I'm not sure how long it will take before we actually get it posted, but just watch for it to be posted.
Yeah.
One final thing, applications, as we said, are open. Once we do the deadline dates pass and we close applications, it will be posted on the program pages, whether or not they are still accepting applications. So our professional course-based, many will close right on the deadline date, but some will stay open a little bit longer depending on the quality and quantity of applications they've received. So you can certainly check those program pages. And so I think that probably wraps things up, Lori.
Yeah, I think so. We kind of had the Zoom for an hour, but please reach out to us at graduate@trentu.ca if you have any further questions, and we will reply right away. We're always happy to assist potential students. So thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the interest and the time to listen, and yeah, take care. We'll post this in the next few days. You'll see this posted on our website if you need to refer back. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.